Hey guys, good evening. Welcome back to our channel. How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome. Good afternoon, good evening. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not yet done so. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for being here. Yesterday we were here for quite some time. And tonight I'm just going to be really quick. Um yesterday I said I was going to bring any update that I have regarding this case. And yeah, and that's why I'm here today. But because of the time that was spent yesterday, yesterday's show was very it was emotional for me, and a lot of people felt emotions, and it touched a lot of people in different ways, either because they have they are going through, or they've been through child custody case in court, or because they know the people that are involved. But one way or the other, a lot of people, if you saw or if you were here yesterday, or you seen the playback, you will know that a lot of people were deeply affected by the show yesterday. And I understand that Ikenna is being laid to rest today, so I'm going to be as delicate as possible. We always have to remember that these are human beings. They are people, and they have families. They have people who love them. So irrespective of how we feel, or whichever side of the aisle that we feel like we belong, because yesterday I kind of had the feeling that it was a case of, oh, people supporting him and people supporting her, people saying this, people, a lot of, there was a lot of back and forth. And I understand that, people feel the need that, oh, this is going on, is the information is not correct. We need to correct the narrative and all that. But as much as you can't tell people what to do or what not to do when it comes to social media, and people taking their matters, very, very deeply personal matters, and especially matters like this where a life is gone, is something that is really, really, really sensitive. So yesterday when we were doing the show, a lot of people who knew, the people involved were listening. Some joined the show, and thereafter some people still reach out to me to tell me that, because the matter is so sensitive, they couldn't call into the show, and they told me what they know regarding the situation. So this is just going to be really, really quick tonight. Thank you so much. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so. As I said, let's try and as much as possible to be sensitive to these emotions that are really raw at the moment, because no matter who you think is guilty, no matter how you think is right or wrong, a young man is gone. And that is the biggest tragedy for me. In this whole scenario, there are no winners. The biggest tragedy is that a very young, promising man, and I checked today and I saw by March he would have been 37. His birthday is actually in March. I think it's March. Let me have a quick look. And I was just like, oh my God. Oh, oh God, this is really, really hard. Honestly, it's really, really hard. It's so sad. And I just felt like the way a lot of people were handling the matter on social media is quite insensitive. There was no consideration, there was no compassion. Even if you felt like he did the wrong thing, or that, he's a Mongo Park, there are cases of domestic violence against him and all that, the fact that he's no longer here, you would expect that some people will have a little bit of compassion for his family. But I didn't see that on social media. Yeah, so his birthday is on the 4th of March. It would have been 37, just like a month from today. It would have been 37. How sad is that? Think about it. And we talked about how a lot there was no empathy yesterday again because it's difficult for people to put. This is one thing that I had a conversation with a lot of people today about. I don't know. A lot of, let me put it this way. What I'm finding, especially on social media and in my platform as well, is because a lot of people have experienced some form of pain, disappointment, maybe trauma regarding their relationships or marriages. A lot of people are in unhappy marriages. And as a result, it kind of clouds their judgment when it comes to issues like this, especially when it comes to a man. When we are discussing about a man and it seems like, oh, we are giving him some grace. I mean, how do you blame somebody that is no longer here? I can't do it though. Because if somebody is alive, you say, okay, at least they have an opportunity to defend themselves. The circumstances and everything leading to how this young man unalived himself is so tragic that I can't, in good conscience, find it in me to come and start saying, oh, you know, and this is the thing that really got to me yesterday was the fact that what the father-in-law was saying, the way he came out on social media, and it was like he was on a mission. Somebody was even saying to me on my DM today that did he pay Linda Ikeji for all those posts? Because Linda Ikeji was the one that was posting all of them. And I felt like that was not necessary. They haven't even buried him yet. Think about it. He's somebody's brother. He's somebody's sister. I don't know him from anywhere. The first time I heard his name was on Sunday. So it's not like, oh, it's somebody that I know personally that I'm trying to fight for. But when somebody, a young person like that, unalive tragically, it doesn't matter what led to it. And some people were on my social media saying, "Oh, it's not the child custody case that made him. It was because he had mental health illness. He was mentally unwell." And I said, "Well, that could be true. However, what I know about mental illness is that things can exacerbate some conditions that people have before, traumatic experiences." And we had, Honey Babe here yesterday who was literally breaking down. Even though her own experience is old, it's not today. Even recalling it was so hard for her because she's been through that process. There is no way you can tell me that going through the court system in America, in the UK, anywhere in the Western world, is not a traumatic experience for anybody. And from what we understand, they've been in court for a while, for a long time. So we had a lot of people calling into the show yesterday, giving their opinion, what they know. And one thing that really stood out for me in all these calls was Dr. Plumrain called in and said that in the US, they have an average of between 300 to 400 medical practitioners, physicians, as you guys call them, who actually buy themselves annually. For me, that was deep. I was like, wow. Why? Because of pressure. Because they can't cope. Black men generally are predisposed to having mental illness. If you look at the statistics, you will see black people generally, but it's more so black men because women, we have different coping mechanism, right? We have friendship group, we have our faith, people have different things, social activities that they use to cope. And I always tell you guys about this, stress buckets that we all have as humans. It was a psychiatrist that told me about that stress bucket. And I tell you guys about it all the time. That bucket it's not a physical bucket. It's something that happens in your brain or in your mind. When stress keeps filling it up, it keeps filling it up, and you don't have any avenues to let off all that steam. At a point, stress from life, stress from work, stress from, debts. A lot of people are in debt in the West. Stress from relationship, marriage. When that bucket fills up and there are no avenues, it just overflows. So anyway, like I said, I'm not going to be long today. I just wanted to share an update with you guys. So just after I finished the show yesterday, I saw that the father-in-law wrote another update. Okay, and let me share the update with you guys. What he wrote yesterday, so you guys can understand. Um, please give us a thumbs up. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's just going to be a really, really quick one tonight. Okay. This is what he shared. Um, he said that all what the people are posting on social media, they are lies. Okay, he said lie. Let me just read it verbatim. He said lies everywhere. He pied himself to avoid paying $1,900 monthly, which he pays partially sometimes. He was not asked to pay 15,000 a month as alleged. And then he said, deadbeat dad. Again, I struggle with this shaming of somebody that just died. I don't know. Maybe it's just me because a lot of people now were saying that, yes, he has a right to defend his daughter because what we don't know is that in the background, the boy's family, they are allegedly saying that she's responsible. I didn't see any post like that anyway, but we are not in their lives. All I know is that somebody brought it on social media, which again, I need to speak about. When things like this happen, people who know the situation usually jump to social media to go and post. So it was actually somebody that brought this to social media initially. They brought it to Facebook. And usually when people do things like that, it's because they are hurting, they are in pain. Yeah. And they feel like, okay, let me vent. But please, please, I'm begging you guys, no matter how you want to vent, mm, no matter how you want to vent, always think about the people who are involved. Because if that person didn't bring it on social media and told us about the $15,000 monthly child support, maybe this would have been done. I mean, they would have dealt with it outside social media. It's bad enough that this family are having to mourn a young man like this. It's worse that it's been dragged and the whole situation is being dragged on social media. Maureen, hi. She said, hi. And to be at a point, I went to Cameroon for a whole year. I needed a breath from the stress here. Yeah, of course. Of course. Absolutely. You have to do what you have to do to survive. Living in the Western world is not more, it's not a joke. So I'm not even going to dwell on how distasteful I find this write up. I don't think it's Yorùbá ní àgbà kì í wà lọ́jà kórí ọmọ tuntun wọ́. That means somebody who understands Yoruba should interpret it in the comment section, please. Even if the person that posted it wrote things that are inaccurate, as an elderly person, you're not supposed to pick up the matter and you start to post and post and post and write things like that, calling him a deadbeat dad and all that. How do you think the family will feel when they see this? How can somebody buy themselves because they don't want to pay child support? That's why he cried because of. So he is now saying that it's not 15,000, it's $1,900, and he wasn't paying it regularly. That he did because he didn't want to pay. That is why he unalived himself. So it also goes to show me how very little we know or understand mental health. Yes. Sister, is the father-in-law that wrote that. Yes. Can you believe that? Can you actually believe that? Now, wow. People get mind, sha. I don't know. I don't know. And people are saying, oh, he's defending his daughter. I'm not saying you shouldn't defend your daughter, but you're an elderly man. Ọmọdé bá ń ṣe bí ọmọdé, àgbà máa ń ṣe bí àgbà. What they used to in our cultures all across Nigeria, what they used to respect elderly people is wisdom. And I can't see any wisdom in that write up. Maybe you guys feel like, well, he should have written it, but I don't agree. He went on to say, go to the state of Maryland court circuit and check numerous standing order, restraining orders. Quiet and peaceful guy, my foot. Any more rubbish talk about my family, more revelations. I am a bulldozer and I will bulldoze any lying blogger. Nobody should blame my daughter for the embarrassment he caused everyone. So it's an embarrassment. Somebody crying is an embarrassment. What can you say? I mean, what can you say? It's an embarrassment. And somebody actually said today that he's a coward. You know, and sometimes I'm very, very interested in people's mindset because mindset tells me more about people in terms of who they are, the character of people. The easiest way to know people is to know their mindset. Something like this is going on. What is their take on it? That is the easiest way to know. Welcome, guys. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not an embarrassment. He unalived himself because he was struggling mentally. He was not well. Nobody goes to school, to medical school, to become a doctor. You have all these certificates. You struggled. Some of us, even physics and chemistry in ordinary level, we couldn't pass it. How many of you could pass maths? You have to take maths over and over and over and over again. It takes a lot of work for you to get to that level. And I don't see anybody who is planning to be a cardiologist in the US doing all that work it takes to get there. And all you are planning is for you to go and buy yourself. I don't see that. There is no smoke without fire. Now something they lead to something where they lead to something. The Ayodeji Pop Show said, Auntie B, why do you think Dr. Ikena's family has not said anything with the father-in-law's allegation? You know what? To be honest with you, bro, sometimes silence is the best approach. Silence is a statement. It's not everybody that will understand it. What do you expect them to say? To go and hire a lawyer or PR person? They are mourning. I think it's the best approach by not saying anything. There's no need. There's no need. In my opinion, I don't think there's any need. So it's better. Let them just mourn their son. I'm telling you that he's been laid to rest today. So you think they are going to be bothered by social media, online validation, or online? They are grieving. I don't think this is the time for them to be writing. Even if they are going to write anything to address what the father-in-law is saying, it's not now. Okay? It's not now. So I think they are doing the right thing by not saying anything. Okay, so let's continue. Let me read this very quickly because I don't want to be long, as I said. Then he went on to say that he published a lot of receipts, where he said that the license was not revoked, that he showed a lot of payments. Maybe this is a what's it called? Bank statement. I don't know. There's payment here of 977, 1009, 962, different payment. There's a lot of receipt there. And then he also posted the details of a court case where there was reports of domestic violence. This was back in 2023. Yeah. The date was the 8th of the 25th, 2023, and is valid till the 10th of the 12th, 2023 against Ikena, right? So these are orders, different temporary orders that were in place. The court orders included do not abuse, do not contact, do not enter residence. You shall stay away from the school, that's the school of the children. You shall stay away from the child care providers, right? And then he went on and on and on talking about how people were saying every single thing that people said on social media. He was, rebutting it, clarifying it, or trying to give information that his daughter was born in Long Island. His daughter is she was an athlete. She won. She almost went to Olympics. She's accomplished. She's an entrepreneur. She's a trumpeter. She holds a doctorate, medical science degree, and all that, and all that. He's setting the record straight, right? Okay, that's all right. He's setting the record straight, but I think timing is everything. Timing. 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 The timing that this man came on social media, that's the father-in-law, that's what I can call him. I don't agree that what he did is right. Okay, so let's look at the additional information that we have. We have the information now that there was some DV involved in the matter, right? There was DV involved, whereby she took some restraining order against him, right? And we also know that mental illness was involved, mental health was involved. So, as I was saying yesterday, a lot of people reached out to me, and some people did want to call into the show. And my understanding is that this matter is even deeper than what any of us can understand. Yeah. He's been struggling allegedly for a long time. I saw says that Ikena has allegedly been struggling mentally for a very long time. Remember, somebody called into the show yesterday and said that they worked together. Remember? Mhm. So that he's been struggling. Let me just paraphrase it. So they know the family very well. He's been struggling. He didn't get any help, you know. And they've been in court for years as well. It's been very, very messy. This custody matter has been really, really messy. He wanted full custody, allegedly, to avoid paying child support. However, he couldn't get it because of his busy schedule. Obviously, as a what was it again? Cardiologist, a medical doctor. I mean, we had about 4 doctors calling to the show yesterday, telling us of how crazy the job is. Do you remember? If you were here yesterday, you would have heard them. So even for couples that are married, I think Plum Rain even told us about her and her husband being both of them being physicians in the same US, and how they manage with their child care and everything, how difficult it is. They don't have the time. So it's a very pressured job. So of course, with one of the child having learning difficulties or learning disability, it was never going to be happen, because it's just that sometimes, yeah, people don't have enough counsel. Because I'm looking at it, I'm like, if Ikenna had enough counsel, there was no need to go to court to be trying to get custody. If you are a man living alone with this kind of job, there's no way the court will give you custody, because they would say you're not going to have enough time to look after, except you don't have this kind of job. Maybe you just have, you know a job that is not very demanding, or you are self-employed, you can do your own hours. Okay. So they were in court for a long time, and the person also corroborated what the father-in-law had said earlier on about him trying to unalive her. But he didn't make it to the news that he planned it. He even allegedly sent a message to the school and all that. Yeah. Yeah. So he was struggling mentally for a long time with depression. And The family allegedly are saying that the wife, ex-wife, is responsible. And the person also confirmed that they are married, but not there was no ceremony. Okay, maybe they just did something small. So I like the fact that even though this person, yeah, who messaged me, is like knows this the wife, the ex-wife, they are very, compassion is something that if somebody don't have it for any reason, maybe because of all the things that happen to you, you become so hardened in your heart now that you cannot have compassion. Then that person, they are not living life fully. Mm. They are not living life fully, and it's actually very sad. Even though this person that was reaching out to me is actually like, more closer to the ex-wife's side, but she still had compassion. This is what she said to me. She said the settlement may have been the last straw that broke the camel's back, but this man was struggling. And she said, I can't even get into details. He struggled for a long time. Hmm. Oh my show. Hmm. Yeah. So when it comes to the issue of social media, people coming to social media to get to solve cases, to solve matter, because you said it about my family, you said it about my relative, you said it about my friend, and I'm not going to allow that narrative to run. I'm going to correct it, I'm going to fight. I always said that when it comes to social media trials, the court of social media, there's no winner. There's usually no winner. People will be divided. Opinions will be divided. This one will say, oh, this, that, is right. This one will say, you are wrong. As much as possible, it's always better to manage things outside social media. Imagine a situation whereby this young man is gone now. Even before laying him to rest, he's, he's already on social media being dragged. People are dragging his ex-wife. People are dragging him. Who wins? Who wins? And like one of my callers said yesterday, we lose sight of what is the most important thing in this case. The most important people, the children. Everybody loses sight because it's about, when you do tug of, when you have that rope, how do they call it? Is it tug of what they call it? You are pulling, this one is pulling, this one is pulling. Yeah. So I want to quickly talk about mental health. Please, let's take our mental health seriously. Yeah. Let's take it very, very seriously. I know it's not an easy subject within our community because it's something that, is laced with stigma, what will people say? But get help. We're in the West. This is not where you need to however way you need help when you are losing it. And you guys, sometimes it's not easy for someone who is ill to get help. See, you need to understand that there's a difference between physical health and mental health. If somebody has cancer, you don't need to tell them to go to the hospital. But when somebody is depressed and they are suffering from severe depression, they might not even be aware. That self-awareness might not be there. It now takes the people around them to say, you know what? They're all right. Let's go and see a doctor. So please, let's be aware of our mental health. There are so many things in the West that can push somebody. The lack of family support, the extended family. You see why I like Nigeria? That's why I love Nigeria, because you always have that family support around you. We have an open community. The lifestyle, you always have engagement, social activities that you go to. It helps. That's why you see, with all the pressure that people are going through in Nigeria, you still see people happy. Why? You'll be wondering, but I thought people said the cost of living is high, but they still find joy in everyday life. Do you know why? Because they have people around them. They have places they go to release some of that stress. So let us try and have compassion and help the people that need our help. And lastly, women, if you're on this platform, I know that we are a domestic violence support group, And I'm the number one advocate, always talking about how healthy relationships is very, very important. But Baba Ja biti kuko. Somebody who understand Yoruba, please interpret in the comment section as well. Baba Ja biti kuko. As much as I don't like Mongo Parks and I don't like abusers, I will never pray for anybody to buy because they are Mongo Park. It's not to that level. It's not to that level. So, especially the ladies who are here, some of us, some of you that listen to me here, please do some work on healing. Because I am what I'm saying a lot on social media is that it's nearly impossible for men to speak. And you guys know I'm the number one plaque carrying, signboard carrying, woman advocate, women rights movement, feminist, whatever you call me. I'm standing there, Gidigba, supporting you sisters. But because I support women does not mean that I hate men. They are not mutually exclusive. You can support women and still have compassion on men. You can support women and still have an understanding of where somebody who is an abuser is coming from. We don't tolerate it. We don't condone it. We condemn it in all entirety. But it doesn't mean that we biti kuko. So a lot of us need to do the work of healing. I see a lot of disconnects from some women because of their own situation, what they've been through. You know, maybe because they are in unhappy marriages or somebody has done something to them. Maybe they've gone through DV themselves, emotional DV, physical DV, whatever it is. So we need to heal. And I pray that, everyone that is hurting, everyone who is brokenhearted, that God will help us. It's not all about learning, it's about unlearning, and it's about forgiveness as well. The unlearning is very, very hard, but you got to do the work. You have to do the work. Otherwise, you are not going, you don't know. You are carrying it with you everywhere you go. You will not know. But it's there. So please, when it comes to a stage like this, hmm, let us have compassion. Yeah. Enu Majek, thank you very much for doing that interpretation for the non-Yoruba speakers. Please give us a thumbs up, guys. You're not liking the video at all. We have 741 people watching and only maybe 100 and so likes. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm just going to take calls now. I said I was not going to be long, and I mean it. Thank you so much, everybody. Laura, you are the first on the show tonight. Hi, how are you?
Um,
Unmute yourself, please.
Hi, Auntie B.
Hello, darling.
Hi, Auntie B. So, I'm calling just to talk about this mental health thing. I know we've been talking about get help, get help. Um, Also, I know if someone is struggling, they're in therapy, it's not only about just them being in therapy. There should be those people around them that are aware should form that synergy of support in any way, like seriously form the synergy of support. But one thing I just realized that most Nigerians don't understand it, we don't get it. They just see you're physically able to move around, do your day-to-day activity. Maybe for some of us, show up for people, and they conclude and assume, oh, you'll be all right. Or maybe you're just overplaying it. I know a few people haven't told me they don't believe in therapy. It doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. All you need is it. I have a friend suffering from something. She said she just had a baby and she was struggling. And the husband was like, she don't need anything like therapy. It doesn't work. What she needs is she needs a vacation. That's what he told her, and she felt really dismissed. She felt like he dismissed the explanation because she couldn't explain what she was going. I'm like, you're grown, you know what you're feeling, you know what you're experiencing. Go to your doctor and get a referral to see a therapist to start therapy. You don't need anybody's approval to understand what you're going through, because I've been there. I could understand what she was saying. And um, as a person that has experienced postpartum depression, I I knew what I went through and how it felt like I was losing my mind, and nobody could understand what I was going through at the time. So, what did we do? We had to form a group. We had come together. We have a to-do list of things that, okay, for example, I know some of the things I did at the time was, okay, I needed to exercise as one of the things to help me. It helps me relax, but I had a baby, I don't have help or anywhere to go. Oh, my therapist found a gym that had childcare where they could hold
Right.
my baby for 2 hours and I could work out, and I started going there. So, I started telling her things like that. You could find something like that. You meet other moms when you drop off your baby, you people, you go exercise, you have conversation. That's number one thing. I said, we started putting down, it's not about just saying get help. So there were other things we put in. What do you like doing? What are other things that started putting that support, and there was like accountability and feedback. Okay, are you actually going to this therapy? What did they give you assignment? What are you supposed to do? Are you doing them? Just that army and village of support for that person at that time. Would give like it would go a long way, because you're not just telling the person what to do, you're actively, um as in showing them how, pointing out things they're also going to do and help them. Because from this whole story, I just figured out that they maybe there was no so much, will I say, just he's a man, he's grown, maybe he's a doctor, he's
Just
smart,
support.
he could
Mhm.
handle it. Yes,
Mm.
he can handle it, he can handle it. But with mental health, it's not like that. You can actually be showing up every day, showing up for everybody, doing everything, but deep down, the person is going deep into what they can't even explain with
Mm.
their words.
Mm.
So, but if that support and someone is following up, that army of, if somebody that picks it up is just following up on that person, um, just making sure they are not even isolated. Because with the whole thing saying he struggled so much, I didn't see a point why he was still living by himself. With the fact that he was going through all that, even if you have a family, if you're a parent
In
or
the
anybody
abroad, how
that,
it is.
I
Sometimes you have
know.
family in the abroad, but you don't even live in the same city. And the US
Yeah.
is big, you
Yeah,
know.
I
You
know
will have
that. I
friends, you don't
understand.
even see them. I mean, one of the physician that called in yesterday told us how she and her husband is at the garage. They say good morning. She works, one of them works night, one works in the day. Imagine husband and wife. How often
I
do you
get
even
it.
still spend together, except you are very, very intentional about it because
You
of
know,
these
I,
crazy schedules?
Yeah, I know, but that's like the thing with men. They need to speak up more. For women, we talk. You don't even have to see the people. You can talk to someone. You can open up to a friend, and but they might not have said it. With men, they just say one word. If someone don't pick it, it's there.
Yeah, yeah.
So for men, please speak up, talk about it. If you have someone that is even listen, just try to just say it. You're not less of a man to express yourself. Mental health is not a respecter of any age. It's not a respecter of any profession, or because you're a man or a woman. So
Hmm.
just try to speak out, and those people that you can trust, just say it, even if it's your family. Because maybe sometimes you open up to your mom or anybody, I don't think whatever work it is, the person wouldn't mind to run down, leave whatever it
Hmm.
is. This is my child, I cannot lose this child because of money or work or whatever. They will be there, but
Hmm.
the information first of all has to be held. And even that that maybe sometimes people think mental health is you're crazy or something, is but you don't have to think about what people will say at this point. I think we should, at 2025, we should all be in that place where public validation or what people think about us should not even be coming into play anymore. We should have like moved past what people have to say, because at the end of the day, whoever fight is the one that lose, because they've not even told you the story or make another choice, because that's the end. So what people say or what people have to say, if you're in any situation, please try to get help. And if you have people around you, please open up. Don't keep it to yourself. It's too much for only one person to handle. And if you're a Christian, you believe in God while you're doing your therapy, please pray to God about it. And
Hmm.
also that would help you in your healing journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laura. Really appreciate your contribution. God bless you. So, the awareness about it. The thing about mental health is that you can be depressed and you might not know it. It's something that sneaks in, that just sneaks into people that they are not even aware. And that is why I don't know whether you guys are aware that a lot of people who have mental health, they are struggling with their mental health. They are usually in denial about it. Again, as Benke said, maybe because of the stigma associated with it in our culture. You need somebody to actually tell you, it's like something is not right though. You know, you usually it's something that just slips in, it creeps in like that without, if you don't that's why it's so living alone in this part of the world, eh? K'Ọlọ́run gbà fún wa ni o. May God have mercy on us. It can creep in a way that the person is not, you are not even aware until it's getting, and mental health usually it just escalates depending on what you are going through. So people will say, oh, depression. You see, oh, people, they will tell you, I'm depressed, I'm suffering from bipolar, you know, and that they are very aware of it, and that's why they will tell you they are on medication, they are seeking help. But our people, if you are not aware of it, before you know, that mental health is going to get worse. Depression will get worse before you know. We are talking about psychosis. Before you know, you start hearing voices, schizophrenia, all sorts of things. It's a slippery slope. Hmm. Now, wow. Hi, Nick Deji. Welcome, darling. How are you, sis?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, darling.
Good afternoon. God bless you.
Welcome.
God bless everything you've been covering. Um,
Amen.
I haven't been able to listen to everything from beginning to end. I always catch snippets, and our WhatsApp group is always, you know, discussing so many things. But at the end of the day, the human being in me is just really sad that, this person decided to, take their own life. At the end of the day, disagreements, arguments should never lead to one thinking that that's the final solution.
Right.
As a Christian,
Mm-hmm.
as a born again Christian, even the Bible tells us if you take your own life, there's you're going to one place, the place nobody wants to be. So, and I always said, where there's life, there's hope. You can always turn things around.
Mm-hmm.
It's very unfortunate that in spite and despite whatever issues they had as a couple, for the woman's father to now use this opportunity to add more salt to the wound is so disgusting, honestly. With age should come wisdom, but there's a lack of wisdom with this person, because if this is the time, they haven't yet, put this person in the ground, and you now want to come out to be, let me say this, this is not the time. This
Mm-hmm.
is not the time.
Mm-hmm.
And as a Christian, the Bible tells us, if any among us is mourning, you mourn with them. If anyone is grieving, you grieve with them. This is not like what nobody is asking you anything. Even if people are asking you, what do you normally see with celebrities?
What
They
has
would
he
say,
proven? What did he
he
prove by
hasn't
all the
proved
things he
anything.
shared?
But usually when something like this happens, even with celebrity, they say, please respect our privacy during this time of our grieving. You could have easily said that. There's a time and place for everything. Like, you're not under investigation. Your daughter is not under an investigation. Why do you care what the public has to say about it? This has, and I don't know if it's true, not true, whatever. It doesn't matter. A
Hmm.
life has been lost. And
Thank
at the
you.
end of the day, the woman has children for this man. That's still their father. And whether
Hmm.
or not they couldn't make the relationship work, you still have to honor him as their father, because the kids will grow up to see all of this. They will see what grandpa said and da da da, and they may even have animosity towards that side of the family. Because
Mm-hmm.
you just have to have, empathy, humanity, compassion.
So a lot of people are saying the justification they giving, or the excuse, let me use the word excuse, that they are giving for why the so-called grandfather was posting all this, is because they say, oh, people on social media are bashing the daughter.
People, you don't live life based on what other people have to say about you. For me, is what God has to say about me. God has the final say. So what if people that don't know, people that are not
Has it
invested in
stopped
your
now? The
life?
question I want to ask, Chantel, do you think it stopped now? After he posted, do you think the bashing has stopped? It hasn't stopped. What it has done is to create, it's even brought it to more awareness. And so you have people taking sides.
And you're opening Pandora's box,
Yeah.
because by the time you release, oh, she was a trumpeter, they would say, I heard, because people will now create their own narratives and add more. So no matter how many times, how many attempts you think you're clearing it up, you would now be adding more confusion, and people will run with whatever they want to run with. And there are people that don't want to see this situation end well. They want to cause more chaos, more confusion, and they will add nonsense to it.
So
Sometimes silence is the best weapon.
absolutely. And you know the thing here, Nick, people don't understand that once you bring something to social media, it's out of your hands. You can't control
Yes,
the
so
narrative anymore.
yes, you're right. Absolutely right. And I don't know if any of what the father said is true. Let's say, for example, playing devil's advocate, you know, he was, I don't know if I could say the ABUS word.
Yes, abuse. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if he was abusive. Let's say he was abusive. But then now hearing that for years, this man has always had some kind of mental issues.
Mm-hmm,
It's like, not saying it excuses it, but then it
mm-hmm,
adds more context to maybe why he was like that.
mm-hmm.
Um, and maybe, like you said, people told him, hey, it's funny, and it's unfortunate because sometimes a lot of the neurodivergent community, people that have ADD, ADHD, autism, whatever, whatever, you know, when you see them as children and growing up, when you look at, things that are commented about them, in as much as they can be genius, but because they have issues with behavior or
Yeah.
social interactions,
Mm-hmm.
they're deemed to be negative, individuals. Oh, this
Right.
person is bad, they're doing this. But it's the way their brain process information, it's the way their brain can understand, and sometimes they don't understand. And when, I have a child that's neurodivergent, and but therapy has made such a huge difference. And it got to a point that I had to put him on medicine, because initially we tried support, additional support, tutoring, math center, this, and I monitor the situation, because I also don't want to be a parent that runs to medicine right away, right? We tried
Right.
other things, but when that wasn't working and he was falling behind school wise, again, constantly communicating with the pediatrician, they were like, okay, now that we've tried everything, we've observed for a few years, let's try medicine. And the day he took it, it was like overnight. It was like from going from night to day immediately. And in my mind, I was like, I wish I would have done this earlier. But even though he's still doing that, but still additional support. And,
Mm.
sharing my own story, the father was going against me with the therapy, and I'm just like, what's your issue? And it's like, oh no, there's nothing wrong with him, blah 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 blah. And in my and me personally, what is in my child is what is also in the father,
Right.
magnified. But
Right.
he doesn't want to accept it. And I understand, because in Nigeria, we don't have the resources, we don't have the infrastructure set up to where there's early intervention. But I'm like, look, I need to give my child a fighting chance so that he would be able to sustain himself and to be self-sufficient in society. It wasn't there for you, but I'm, as a mother, I have to make sure. And and we battle, and even to the point that I had to even specify it in court, because he was really trying to be a hindrance. But and now he also sees the difference,
The
the impact,
benefits.
the change, the
Yeah.
benefit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there's a level of deniability. I don't know if it's because of culturally, or maybe he sees it as a reflection of him or his DNA, it doesn't matter. The child is here. So same thing with the guy, even though he may have, been so accomplished, has done all these things, has reached the top, but yes, he's a genius. But other areas of social interaction, understanding, comprehending relationship dynamics, he may struggle. And unless somebody is ready to handle those things or treat those things, it's very difficult. I have a girlfriend right now who, I could see is going through a lot. She lost her mom, she's going through a divorce. She says she's depressed, and she has her circle of friends. We're all encouraging her, we all help her, but we're like, you need therapy. In as much as you want to call the whole world to vent, we can only do so much. We don't have the resources or tools that can help you come out of this state. And do you know that no matter we provided information for doctors, we even called to schedule appointment, but at the end of the day, if the person don't enter car to go,
There's
if
nothing
the
you can
person
do.
don't, what can I do? And
Yeah.
all I can do now, in as much I continue to show support and encourage, but I have to cover her in prayers. Because
Yeah.
unfortunately, unless that person is deemed unfit or a
Mm-hmm.
danger to themselves or others, there's
Mm-hmm.
not much you can do.
Right.
So it's just really unfortunate, but again, as much as you have your community and people are there to support you, there also has to be a level of, like you said, self-awareness,
Yeah.
or willingness to try something different that may
Mm-hmm.
produce results. And
Absolutely.
another example, I have another girlfriend that relocated, to a different country from Nigeria, and she was having a hard time. She was struggling, and one day she called me crying hysterically. I'm thinking the worst of things, and she was like, she's not happy. She's not happy. She started spilling some things. I said, okay, let's pray. She said she's tired of praying. I said, okay, you don't pray. Me, I will pray. And I encourage her. I tried to calm her down, but luckily I had one of her family members' number. I had to call them. They're not even
Mm-hmm.
in the same country. They're in a different country. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, look, this is what's
They,
going
they
on with
need
your
they need
sister.
help. Yeah, they need
Yeah,
help.
you need to check in on her, talk
Yeah.
to her, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a different country, they're in a different country, you are in a different country. But I made them aware, and even after that, I check in on her. How are you feeling? Are you better? Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I advise her, you can't be isolated, find a community. I go to MFM. I said, find an MFM. There's MFM everywhere. She was able to find one. I said, once you're part of the community, you even feel better. I still continue to pray for her, joined her to where her spirits picked back up and she's in a better position. And this is
And
just a few weeks ago. So,
and some people, yeah, Nick Deji, some people, yeah, when they are struggling like that, they just need to leave.
mm-hmm,
I was having this conversation with a friend of mine who lives in America last week when she was telling me, she was asking me about a mutual friend who has mental health issues in the US. And she said there's a lady in her church who is from East Africa, and she's really struggling mentally. Everybody knows. I said, you know what? Sometimes just pack up your bag and baggages, especially if you
yes,
don't have anything tying you down to that country. Go back home. You will be
yes,
surprised where you go back home how better you will feel.
yes.
Just being in the loving arms of the people that love you, your family. If you have a good family, it does wonders.
What you said is absolutely right. And I think, I don't know if it's just they feel shameful, if they, it's almost like I gave it up, right? I gave up the fight. But I come from a family, I'm the only girl. I have four brothers or whatever. All my family members are in a different state. I'm the only one here in Texas. I'm the only one that venture out. I'm in Texas. So I have to enter plane ride to go and visit back. But the funny thing, and I used to say this to my mom and dad, I'm like, all your boys, they're staying around, close proximity, whatever. Me, how come you don't worry about me? She said, no, because I know you. You will figure it out. You will find your way. You're strong. But I also know that at the end of the day, if things are not working out for me where I am, and I
Mhm.
feel so isolated, whatever, I
It's,
know I
it's,
can always go back home. I
it's
can
okay to go
always go back.
back. It's
Yes,
okay. It's like it's not like you're not a failure. You're just going to reset.
absolutely.
You're going to get yourself together and think of the next move. And I don't know, the way
Absolutely.
I look at life, my outlook towards life is so different because I see life in a way because of my work. and I see how life goes very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people, because of our, how, where we come from, we are usually so consumed with, achieving so much, how much success we have in terms of money, how much we make, and all that. And people are just very, and Nigerians are very competitive.
But I never understood, and maybe because I have the upbringing of two places, right? Nigeria and here, but more so here. And I feel like I always knew and I always understood, God created us, even though we're all related, right? We're all God's children, but God created us differently. And there's a reason why, because all of us have our own journey to take in this life. All of us have a purpose to fulfill. My
Mhm.
journey is not going to be your journey, Sister B. And my
Absolutely.
destiny is not the same as, somebody else's destiny. And people need to understand that sometimes the lane that you're in is specific for you. You
Mhm.
know, I see people, I don't compare my career, I don't compare my education to others. But I what do you call it? I applaud, I celebrate other people when they have their wins, even if I don't have the same exact win. But it's okay. And I'm
Mhm.
comfortable knowing that what is for me will always be for me. And people
Absolutely.
need to stop looking at others as competitors. And I think a lot of times that's also a problem in our society.
Mhm.
It's like, if they see somebody, look at
Mhm.
Sister Tega. Hey, look
Mhm.
at her son. He just recently
Mhm.
bought her a car. Ha, I'm going
Post.
to
They're
do her
checking the
in.
postcode.
And
Yeah.
they're posting it. They're trying to
Yeah.
pepper me. I will show them. Let me go and meet
Yeah.
the witch doctor. For what? That Sister
Mhm.
Tega is minding her business, and your create is insecurities.
That's why
Because
people live
what?
fake life. Moving
Yes.
away now from this young man. That's why people live fake life, because they put unrealistic expectations on themselves. And contentment is something that we need to master.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not content.
Contentment.
Being
Absolutely.
content does not mean that you're not ambitious. You can be ambitious, but
Exactly.
where you are, you are content. And
You
you wake
said
up
it.
every day. Let me tell you something I started doing lately. I just wake up in the morning, make my bed, and I give thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Something as mundane as making your bed. I looked at my bed. It's so crazy, because I've just said to myself, this year, I am just going to maintain an attitude of thanks and
Mm-hmm.
being grateful.
Mm-hmm.
So I make my bed. I took a picture. I'm like, oh my god, look at how gorgeous this bed light. My bed
It's the
sheets
little
are.
things as you get
Little
older.
things.
It's the little
And
things that you appreciate so
I
much.
grew up seeing this kind of bed, and this kind of the way my bed is laid out. I have all these fluffy pillows and everything, and it's looking nice. I took a picture. I'm like, oh, well done. You go, girl. Look at your bed.
Yes.
It's so nice. It's a very simple thing, but you don't know the joy it gives me.
No, you're right. The joy that some things give me is like by the time I research something that I need to buy, that I need in a house, and then I've done my review and I bought that thing. It's like little things, the things that
Yeah,
other people were
it's a
like,
little
"Are you
thing.
okay?" But
Mhm.
the other thing I want to say is that people, exactly what you said. The Bible also talks about it. You have to be content, but you can still ask for more. God, thank you. I when I do my prayers, I'm like, God, thank you for what you have given me. Thank you for
Mhm.
this. Thank you for that. Thank
Mhm.
you for that.
Mhm. Mhm.
God, I bless you. Thank you. I appreciate it. God, but I also want this. I'm also
Yes.
looking for this. Da, 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 da. But it doesn't mean, but God knows
Ah,
my heart, my spirit. So God doesn't
yeah.
say that, but you have to have a spirit of contentment and thanks, appreciation, and you can
Mhm.
still be ambitious,
Mhm.
still ask for, the sky's the limit because God said all
Absolutely.
these things, all these blessings are,
It's
are
given to
available to
us.
you, is
Yeah.
available to you. So if
Mm.
somebody else is a billionaire, tomorrow, it doesn't mean God, maybe God knows, if I give this
Mm.
person this money, they will do, they will be worse off. God knows what is for you and what needs to be for you. And,
Thank you.
and the other one thing I wanted to say is that, people, unfortunately, when this person, took their life, again, it goes back to being thankful and everything. Look at what has never happened or what has happened so long ago with all the plane crashes.
Mhm.
That one
Mhm.
plane crash, the next
Mhm.
day medevac,
Mhm.
then
Mhm.
yesterday in
Yeah.
here in Houston, the
Yeah.
fire on the end. It's like, So at the end of the day, you have to be thanking God and still be
Mhm.
saying, God, protect me, protect my family, protect this, whatever, because you never know when did any
Yeah.
of those people know that it was going to be their final day.
No, no,
So,
they didn't.
at the end of the day, people need to take self-care for themselves. They need to
Mm,
also keep a watchful eye on those close to them and offer
mm.
support and be there for them as well. We should
Thank you.
never be happy or feel victorious when we hear the demise of another person, in spite and
Absolutely.
despite of whatever they did. At the
Despite
end
the
of the day, is
circumstances.
yeah, despite
Mhm,
the circumstance, is that's God's
mm.
place. It's not your place. It's not
Thank
your
you.
place. And if you revel in somebody else's misery, when your own time comes, people will gather to revel in yours, and it will not be a good feeling.
Thank you so much, Nick Deji. Thoroughly
Thank you, my
appreciate you.
dear.
Thank you, sis. My
Stay blessed.
lovely. Stay blessed to yourself. Be safe out there. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, Yvette. Thank you, sis, for the 9.99 super chat. Have a cup of ginger tea. I definitely will. God bless you. Thank you. There was another comment I saw from you. I wanted to post. He said, Lady B, me too. I wake up. You make up my bed every morning after prayers and express joy. Yeah. If you want to know how to appreciate a good bed, go and buy really nice bed linen. When you have really nice bed linen, you just the little things. It's the little things of life. This is how you make your cup full. Sometimes it's not the grand gestures of the big things that we have, but it's the little everyday life. Enjoying everyday life is very, very important for our well-being. And lastly, before I go, I'm going to do something that I don't usually do here. I don't think I've ever done it, or maybe I've done it, I've forgotten, I can't remember. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not done so. I want to talk to you guys about the importance of connecting to God. All right. I'm not a pastor. This is not a church. Everybody's welcome. I'm not even talking about religion now, but I'm talking about it is almost nearly impossible for us, especially Black people, to live life successfully without connecting to the source, the being. And while we are talking about mental health and how it is so difficult, people go through different things in life, struggling. That is something for me personally that gives me an additional succor. I have assurance and safety in the fact that I have a relationship with God. And I can go to Him as a child goes to the Father and say, Lord, oh, don't worry, oh, take it from here. I don't know what to do. Because there are different things in life at different stages in life where you get to and you just feel so hopeless and helpless. You don't know what to do. There are some things that happen to you. You are so ashamed. You don't even know somebody, not anybody that even your closest friend. You don't want to talk to them about it. And that is why it is very important to us for us to connect to that super being, our creator. Let us not think we are too woke now. After all, Igbo people don't go to church. They don't believe in God. You are not Oyibo. Nǹkan tó ń lé ẹ, ó pọ̀ o. You know where you are coming from. We all know where we are coming from. So don't think I'm in the abroad now. So why do I need to? I don't need. What is that? There is a joy, a sense of joy and tranquility that comes from connecting. When you connect with God, when you pray, when you put on that music and you are dancing. For me, it's praise worship. Oh. I'll just put it on my speaker in the kitchen. Everybody in my house is tired of me. In the bathroom, everywhere I am, I'm playing that music. Please, very, very important. Let us go to God because God is the one that gave us life. He knows the journey. The Bible says that He knows the end of a matter from the beginning. And so we must learn to trust, absolute trust in Him. And how do we do that? Is by having faith. When you have faith, you have absolute trust in Him. Babe. I don't know how it's going to happen, no, but I know that I trust God. It helps with our everyday life. Because if you look at life now, it's just getting worse by the day. The pressure is pressuring. The struggle is too much. The bills are crushing. So many things. People are living paycheck to paycheck. You have responsibility here. You have a responsibility at home. In Africa, you are stressed because you work every day. You don't even have any day off. How are you going to cope? How are you going to cope? You think with your human mind that you are able to? I'm not saying that when you have a relationship with God and you fellowship with God is just going to make life easy, kumbaya for you. But for me, it helps. It does help. So please, let us try to connect to the source. Thank God for what He does for you every day. Little things, as I said, and continue to maintain your compassion. Continue to maintain your humanity, irrespective of anything that happens around us. We know because we have the assurance that we are safe with Him. Thank you so much, everybody. I told Sisi I was going to do 1 hour. She said, I can never do 1 hour. When I'm doing 1 hour, Sisi. You see? Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you. Please give us a thumbs up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening. I shall see you in my next one. And before I leave, I just want to pray that everybody that is affected by this incident, the Lord will comfort them. And as they lay Ikena to rest today, I pray that the Jehovah God will be with his family, his loved ones, his children, and it will give them, it will comfort them and help them to bear this irreparable loss. May so rest in peace. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you. I love you. Tomorrow I'm back. I have a story tomorrow I want to do, which is a bit lighter, than this. This was heavy, but tomorrow is a bit lighter. Can you really trust? Can you really trust completely? Do you think you can trust that I know this person and I can trust them infinitely? I know them. Can you really trust like that? Can you? Well, I have a true life story tomorrow I want to share. It happened last week where somebody by, and when they went to go and do the burial, it was all sorts of things. Revelation. Nkombe. Something happened. Hmm? Something happened. 35 years of marriage, 5 kids. And there was revelation at the funeral ground when the uncle died. Oh my God, this is going to be lighter, so much more lighter, but there are loads of lessons to learn in it. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening. Don't leave without giving us a thumbs up. Subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay? So this happened in Nigeria, and it's about a wife of 35 years finding out the secret life that her spouse has been leading for 35 whole years. That's what we're going to find out tomorrow. Thank you. Nick Deji, thank you so much, my dear. Yvette, thank you so much, sis. I appreciate you. Give us a thumbs up, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Bye, guys. I love you guys. Stay blessed, stay compassionate, and keep your humanity. Don't allow circumstances around you to change you. Keep your empathy. It is well. Thank you, everybody. Bye, guys.